Good evening, everybody. Matt M. Roy back once again, starting a few minutes early, mainly because I noticed that we had quite a few people here already. I don't know how many of you have had a chance to see my two live streams from the Wegmans here in Virginia Beach. Mainly the second one because the first one started to cut out. I finally was able to connect to their store's internal Wi-Fi, and it started to get a lot better. Now, I'm going to give a few minutes for people to get here because I want to go over, mainly in this video, some of the healthy food options you can find at your local Wegmans store. Wegmans itself is an amazing, amazing store. They started in Rochester, New York. I should have probably put this up earlier, but I'll go ahead and let you guys know. How much you guys love Wikipedia, right? Let me go ahead and give you guys just a little background on Wegmans itself. So Wegmans is a privately owned company founded in 1916 by John and Walter Wegman as the Rochester Fruit and Vegetable Company. Wegmans is headquartered in Rochester, suburb of Gates. Danny Wegman is the chairman. His daughter, Colleen Wegman, is president and CEO. His daughter, Nicole Wegman, is senior vice president. So you can get the idea that this is a family-run business. In 1968, the chain expanded beyond the Rochester area with a store in Syracuse. And then from there, 1977, they started another store in Buffalo. In 1993, in Pennsylvania, New Jersey. 99 in New Jersey, and the first Virginia store was in 2004, Maryland in 2005. So Wegmans in and of itself has been around for a very long time. And I consider ourselves blessed that we actually have a Wegmans here in Virginia Beach, because even though it's not that close to where I am, they have some amazing healthy food options, things that we really can't get in any other stores around our area. We got Robert Jones, Stephen Barber. We are not talking about, this is going to be specifically about Wegmans, so please do not ask any questions that don't pertain to Wegmans or healthy food options. No computer stuff, nothing electronic, nothing technology related is going to be discussed in this live stream. If that's what you're here for, I'm sorry, we just do not have time to do that this go around anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys or tell you guys about a couple of items that I found at Wegmans that are really, really tasty. Number one is something I actually purchased when we were down there yesterday, and that is the Beyond Meat, the Beyond Burger by Beyond Meat. It's a plant-based burger patty. And I'm going to go ahead and share this website with you guys, and you can peruse it at your leisure. But it is number 7, and they actually say that this can be found at Safeway, but it also is carried by Wegmans and a few other select grocery stores. And I actually tried this yesterday, and I am fully prepared to do a review of this. As a matter of fact, in the next week, I want to go ahead and do that. I'm going to purchase another pack of these, and I'm going to do an actual food review for you guys, because you would not believe how much this tastes like a burger. As a matter of fact, if somebody cooked this and served it to me and told me that this was an honest-to-God meat burger made out of beef, I would have totally believed him, because it actually tastes that good. So let me read the little snippet here and tell you guys exactly what this is. If you live in the Western U.S., you'll probably find plenty of meat-free options, but not necessarily on the East Coast. There are a lot less options here. The Beyond Burger is a meat-free burger that up till now has been exclusive to Whole Foods throughout the country, but now is available at other locations like Wegmans and Safeway. And believe it or not, our local Food Line actually does have them available. And so you're probably asking me at this point, Matt, what is actually in the Beyond Burger? Let me pull that up and I'll tell you exactly what you can find in the Beyond Burger other than meat. So the Beyond Burger mimics the flavor of beef and ground beef, but doesn't actually have any meat in it. It consists primarily of pea proteins, canola oil, and various seasonings. Of course, I'm not going to tell you exactly what seasonings are in it. The soy and gluten-free pea protein mixture initially resembles a paste before being heated and processed by an extrusion machine. And I have to say that before you cook it, when you're just looking at it, if you're holding it in your hand, you can tell that it is not real beef. It doesn't have the feel or the texture of real beef until you actually physically cook it. And you only have to cook it for about 3 to 5 minutes on either side. And the funny thing is, if you guys are used to eating your burgers well done, then this may or may not be palatable for you, because when this is fully cooked and you crack the burger open, it is red inside. It actually resembles a rare burger, which I actually don't mind. In years past, when I used to eat actual burgers, I would sometimes eat them that rare. So that is one item that I would highly recommend getting from your local Wegmans. And again, if you don't have a Wegmans where you are, there are other stores that carry that, like Safeway and, again, Food Lion. Believe it or not, I was actually able to find this particular item at our local Food Lion. Another item that Wegmans has, and this is, again, more for the vegans out there, but anybody can enjoy this. Wegmans sells the Don't Have a Cow meatless beef style crumbles. Now, if you guys remember my ex, I'm not going to name names, but she was really into vegan and vegetarian food. She actually turned me on to this, and I actually tried it, and it really does, again, taste like beef. Basically what it is a soy-based product. So if you're allergic to soy or that bothers you, then this is not the thing for you. But again, it's a meatless product that resembles taco meat, and you can basically spread it over anything. They show it here mixed into some form of chili, but you use it in taco meat. You could use it even in breakfast. I know vegans that I know personally that take that and they mix it with the soy-based eggs, and they actually make like a vegan breakfast scramble, because you can actually get like potatoes and that, and you can get the soy-based eggs, which I'm not really a big fan of those. But again, if you're only a vegetarian, then you can use the real eggs and just use those meatless crumbles. It's really good stuff. George Stewart says, Jack in the Box out west is a fast food restaurant, and they serve those plant-based burgers. I have heard of Jack in the Box. I didn't know about their plant-based burgers, but if they taste anything like the Beyond Burger, it's absolutely amazing. I would be the first one to say that I don't really like necessarily trying the vegan or vegetarian foods in the past. But now that I know that stuff can taste this good without meat, there's no reason for me to go back to eating ground beef or beef at all. And I've never really shared this before because I wasn't 100% sure, but I am now. I have what they call a beef allergy. For many years, after I would eat anything made with ground beef, that whole night I would have like stomach cramps. I'd be up half the night going back and forth to the bathroom. And it took me years to realize that it must be the beef that was bothering my stomach. And what really did it for me is I hadn't eaten beef for about 6 months because I was on my healthy lifestyle change. And all of a sudden, I started adding some junkier foods back in because I pretty much reached my goal weight at that point. And all of a sudden, when I started eating beef again, I had the same problems. I started having indigestion. I had stomach cramps. I was up half the night going back and forth to the bathroom. And it occurred to me that I hadn't had those problems before ever since I gave up the beef. So that pretty much confirmed that I have some form of allergy to beef. And it may not necessarily be a full-blown allergy. Like, I'm not going to have to go to the hospital and get injections for it, but it's just that ground beef disagrees with, or beef in general disagrees with my system. So that's why I'm not really eating beef anymore. I stick to turkey, pork, and a lot of days I'll just go vegetarian or vegan. Robert Jones says, I like turkey burgers. I don't mind turkey burgers, but I'll let you guys know a secret about turkey burgers. You really cannot grill them on a outdoor grill. And I learned this pretty much yesterday. I bought 2 Jennie-O quarter-pound turkey burgers from Dollar Tree because our relatives that were visiting like that kind of stuff, and I kind of do too. And I went to grill them, and do you know that most of the burger actually fell through the grill into the bottom part of it? And the reason being, there's not enough fat in those burgers. That's the same principle. Like if you get like 95% lean ground beef, you also really can't grill them because the burgers will just fall apart. There are ways around that. You can put what's called a grill mat down and you can grill them on that, but you're better off just cooking them inside like in a frying pan or something because they're really low in fat anyway. George Stewart said, maybe we're not supposed to eat red meat. We don't have a large canine teeth. Now, I don't want to get into a philosophical discussion here. I think humans are supposed to eat pretty much whatever we want. It depends. If you go by what the Bible says, it basically says that the animals are here to do with what we want. So we can eat what we want. We can choose not to if we want, if we don't want to. But I think if you are somebody out there that wants to eat red meat, I'm perfectly fine with that. I really don't care. But I do believe it's good to limit the amount of red meat that we put in our bodies because studies have shown red meat leads to increased blood pressure, increased cholesterol, all these adverse health effects. A lot of them can be attributed to overconsumption of red meat. George Stewart, lettuce wraps minced chicken simply delicious. That is something I would definitely consider trying. So basically what you're saying is you take minced chicken and wrap it like around lettuce leaves. I've actually seen that done. There are some restaurants in our area that do that. And I would definitely try that. Hey, you know what? It's good for those of you out there that are on keto-friendly diets. Yeah, I mean, to cut out all the carbs like that. The Cardboard Maker Studio. I hope I pronounced it. Cardboard Maker Studio. Would you go full vegetarian? No, I would not consider that. I believe that as humans, it's a good idea to consume some form of meat because you can get a lot of the protein and the vitamins, the minerals that we need on a daily basis from a plant-based diet, but you can't get everything. And studies have actually shown that people that are fully vegan or vegetarian have to take all these different mineral supplements, vitamin supplements for things that you just can't get from a fully plant-based diet. We are not carnivores, specifically. We're not herbivores. We're omnivores. Our bodies are designed to consume both plants and meat, basically. I mean, that's just the way our bodies are designed. Okay, so getting back on topic here, we're mainly talking about Wegmans. I want you guys to do me a favor. If you guys have ever shopped at a Wegmans before, I want you to go ahead and make a comment. Just let me know what your experience was. Did you like the selection that they had? It would be great if you could tell me about some of the more healthy options that they have there, things that maybe I didn't discuss or show in the live stream yesterday. But while I'm waiting for that, I will let you guys know a few things that I really did like about Wegmans. I'm just going to start with where we started in the cafeteria area. Mom and I had two of the best slices of pizza that I've had in a long time. They were not vegan because they did have cheese, but they were vegetarian. One was just the regular cheese pizza that they had, and their pizza is New York style. Again, being a New York-based store, everything there is pretty much got a New York slant to it. And I can say from being a New Yorker, a former New Yorker, that their pizza does almost fully mimic something you would get from New York City or the southern New York area. The first one was just their cheese pizza with the regular marinara mozzarella cheese, and that was incredible. Just again, like something I would get from New York City. The second piece of pizza that I had, and the only piece that Mom had, was something that they call a white pie, which if you don't live in the Northeast, New York, Pennsylvania, maybe New England area, you've probably never heard of it. A white pie is a little different in the sense that there is no marinara or tomato sauce on it. Instead, on top of the crust, or I should say on top of the pie, they use ricotta cheese, then mozzarella cheese on top. And in this case, they actually had whole cloves of garlic that they put on top of the pizza. And that was incredible. The amount of flavors you get out of there from the ricotta cheese, the mozzarella cheese, and then you all of a sudden get that bam, that kick of garlic was absolutely incredible. And yes, I realize that it's not technically health food, but when you consider the ingredients that are in these particular slice of pizza, especially the garlic and ricotta cheese one, it is definitely a healthier option because you're not getting a lot of the saturated fats you get from meat. Nothing, no pepperoni, no sausage, none of that processed meat. So moving on from there, I actually went and perused the rest of the prepared food area, the cafeteria, and it is humongous. You can get almost any kind of prepared food there. They have Italian food, Indian food, Chinese food. They have subs. They have what was the other thing? They have salads, and then of course you have the healthier options. And they had an actual bar there specifically devoted to vegan food. They had things like one was corn cakes, like fried corn cakes. They had a tomato and mozzarella salad or a caprese salad. They had a corn and cilantro and avocado salad there. So you had tons of different options there, a lot of healthy options. And then they have the areas where you have the chef salads and things like that. And the really cool part of it is a lot of it is really just grab and go. You can go in there, you can grab a salad, maybe grab a cookie if you want to be a little bit bad for dessert, and then you can go right to the self-checkout, leave, and go back to your business. Or if you have some more time, you can go sit in the ample areas they have, in the cafeteria and have a nice lunch. And it's a great place to have a business lunch too, because they have free Wi-Fi. A lot of the tables in your outlets, you can plug in your tech gear, your laptops, your smartphones if you have to. George Stewart says, macaroni in the cafeteria at Wegmans is always sold out. That doesn't surprise me. I've never tried it there, but my cousins have, and they said that is an amazing dish. And again, not a healthy dish specifically, but there are worse options out there. Mr. Jimmy said, I bet Gordon Ramsay would find it disgusting. Well, I'd have to agree with you there because he finds anything prepared disgusting, but I do not agree with him there. Pradkins14 says, start my diet tomorrow. Awesome, Pradkins. Keep us updated on how you're doing with your diet. You can send me updates through the live streams, or you could just send me a message. But I always like to hear about people that are starting their diet/lifestyle changes and how they're doing. Let me know if you're comfortable sharing your weight loss. please, by all means, do that. The Cardboard Maker Studio says, I'm in Canada. I don't really know what it is. Okay. Hmm. Okay. I believe it or not, my father was actually born in Canada, in Quebec. And there were two stores up there that we used to frequent. One was called Provigo, and the other was Super C, like super with a C, and I think it had like a plus on the side of it, so it was probably like the higher end one. And I vaguely remember that the Super C had a lot of the same things that Wegmans does. Yeah, I got what you were saying. I don't think there are any Wegmans up in Canada, but there are. I know you guys have other stores like that. Super C being the only one that I remember. It's probably been 10 years since I've been up to Canada. Now, one other thing, while moving away from the prepared food area in Wegmans, immediately the cafeteria area, you start getting into the fresh fruits and vegetable area, the produce area. And the one thing that I absolutely loved that they had a whole wall dedicated to chopped and prepared vegetables and things like onions, peppers, zucchini and pea pods and all different kind of things. They even had the Asian, I can't think of the name of it right now, bok choy. All that stuff was cut and prepared. Now, you are going to pay a little bit more for that, but I liked it for the sheer convenience of it. When you think about our fast-paced on the go lifestyle that we all have nowadays, a lot of us maybe make a good salary, but we don't necessarily have a lot of time to be cutting up our own vegetables to prepare for something like a stir fry or a casserole. So the fact that they have all those options for you, I think, is really great. So again, a person on the go, a metro, what do they call it? What do they call it? A urbanite or somebody like that can go in there, pick out the vegetables they want, maybe pick up some meat and go to the self checkout if they're really in a hurry, bring it home and make a quick meal for their family. And a lot of the stores, at least in our area, other than Wegmans, just don't offer that. And if they do, it may be in a limited selection. Like Walmart, the area that they have for prepared or pre-sliced vegetables is almost non-existent. I think you can get some pre-sliced peppers, and that's about it. So I have to give Wegmans again kudos for including that. That is definitely something that people in our area do need. William McCullough says Wegmans, yes, fresh fish. Yeah, Wegmans does have a great meat and deli section, and to be honest with you, I am not a big fish eater, so I've really not paid a lot of attention to the that particular section. But I have walked past it, and yes, they do have a great selection of fresh fish, and we're talking fresh here, never been frozen, stuff that is sourced locally if possible. And in our area, a lot of fish can be, because we live right near the ocean. We have a lot of lakes near us, so you can pretty much get whatever you need. I am not a bass fan either, Pradkins. I know a lot of people do like it. If I do eat fish, I like swordfish, I like cod, and I like haddock. And those are about the only three fish that I really like. A freshwater fish that I do tend to eat at times also is trout, but only when our good friends up in New York make it, and he does it really well. He actually catches it himself. He stuffs it, cuts it open, debones it. Well, actually, he debones it after he cooks it. He cuts it open, stuffs it with lemon, garlic, and puts it on the grill, wraps it up in silver foil, puts it on the grill, and then when it's cooked, you can literally just pull all the bones out, and you just get in there, you scoop it out, and it is heavenly. I can't do it. I've tried. Mr. Jimmy said, the fish at the beach over the road from me, I would never eat. The water is polluted. Yeah, we have a problem there here too. I'm not going to name specific rivers, but a couple of the local rivers where we are that actually have a good selection of not only fish, but they have freshwater crabs, blue crabs. I would not eat any of the marine life out of that because it is just so polluted. But not all the rivers and ocean fronts in our area are like that. 96 Super Cs in Canada. Now that I did not know. I mean, I assumed they had a lot because it was a real big chain back 10 years when I was there. But things change so much, you never know. Mark Covington's here. I'm doing just fine. And he asks, what kind of store is Wegmans? Wegmans is a supermarket in every sense of the word. Think of your local Walmart supercenter on steroids. So basically, a store where you can just get almost everything, and everything for the most part is fresh, organic, and I think non-GMO too. I know that they're working on that, just like Aldi is, but there's just so much there to be had. Now, I also found some really good deals and some really good food in the coffee aisle. More specifically, if you guys go back and you watch those live streams, they have their own brand of K-Cups. And the one that I picked up is the flavored hazelnut. And the reason I did that is most stores, when you find the hazelnut coffee, whether it be in the coffee grounds or in the K-Cups, it's usually artificially flavored. But when I was in Wegmans, I read the boxes for their brand K-Cups. Their hazelnut, French vanilla, Irish cream, all of their coffees are naturally flavored. And that is the only way I will purchase flavored coffee. One, because it just tastes better. And two, it's better for you. I've actually tried artificially flavored hazelnut, and it just has a really bad aftertaste. And you don't know what it's flavored with. I mean, artificially flavored means it's flavored with chemicals that some chemist in a lab, probably in Moscow or something, created, and you just don't know what you're putting in your body. So you really have to be very, very careful. Mark Covington asks, would there happen to be a Wegmans anywhere in Newport News or in Hampton? No. The only Wegmans in this part of Virginia is the one in Virginia Beach. It is the very first one actually in our area. Whether or not they're going to be putting one there, I'm not sure at this time because, again, this one just opened a few months ago. And I think what they're going to do is they're going to test the waters, if you will. They put it in one of the most affluent and highly populated areas, Virginia Beach, that being the Pembroke Town Center area right off Independence. So they were spot on with the placement of this store. And if it does well there, and every indication says that it is, then I can't imagine they wouldn't start opening more stores. Where they're going to put them, I don't know. That only time will tell. Sonic Wang wants to know, do I like orange soda? When I used to drink soda, occasionally I would, but I honestly hardly ever drink soda anymore. And if I do treat myself to soda, what I actually get is the Pepsi in the glass bottles, the Mexican Pepsi. It's actually made in Mexico. And the reason I get that is they still use the real cane sugar. They don't use high fructose corn syrup in that. But that might be once every 6 months, so twice a year at most. I just don't have I just don't have the taste for soda anymore. And I never really did. I just used to drink it because it kind of gave you a high. It would allow you to stay up all night. If I was trying to study for a test or work on a project, I just down maybe 5 or 6 cans of Coke or Pepsi back then, and it would help me stay awake. Now, if I need to do that, I choose the better option. I just drink coffee, and I use, again, pure cane sugar. Baxter, what are you doing? See, Mr. Baxter is here with us tonight. What you doing, buddy? You want to say hi? Want to say hi, Baxt? He's like, duh. What you doing? You cleaning yourself, Baxter? We're doing another live stream. Come here. You gonna come say hi? Are you into healthy eating, Baxter? We've tried to cut you back on your food too, but you won't eat the healthy, dry or wet cat food. You turn your nose up at it. So I still have to give you the cheap, frisky stuff. Yes, I do. See, this is what he does when he wants attention. Someone at the very least give me a thumbs up for Baxter. Don't do it for me. Give Baxter a thumbs up. You're so sweet. You're a sweetie pie. Yes, you are. Good boy. There you go, Baxter. You got 2 thumbs up. One from Pradkins and somebody else. Good boy. All right, Mr. Baxter. We'll leave you alone. Get you guys back focused on me. Sometimes I got to do this to get the camera to focus on my face again. Thumbs up for Baxter. So you got one from Mark Covington and you got one from Pradkins 14. How does the taste compare to regular Pepsi? At least in the Pepsi realm, because I mainly drink Pepsi, it's a more crisp taste. If you guys remember drinking Pepsi, if you're old enough to remember drinking Pepsi back in the 80s and early 90s, it tastes just like that because up until I think 1993 or 94, they still used real sugar. They only went to high fructose corn syrup back in the mid 90s because it's cheaper. It actually increased their profits, I think at the time, by maybe 3 or 4 cents for every bottle they sold. And the downside was it actually is much less healthy. We now know that high fructose corn syrup raises your blood sugars. And honestly, there's a correlation in the increase in the amount of people with diabetes around the same time that the industry started changing from real sugar to the high fructose corn syrup. And there's a big resurgence now of companies trying to go back to the old ways of doing things, using real sugar, pure cane sugar, or even white granulated sugar. Heck, that's even better than the high fructose corn syrup. A lot of them, if you go into Dollar Tree or any Walmart, any one of your stores, and you look in the, not necessarily in the big 2-liter jugs, but like the 20-ounce bottles of Coke and Pepsi, I think more specifically Pepsi, you do have the option of getting what they call the old school Pepsi now. So even the American-made Pepsis and Cokes are starting to go back to that, and that is really a good thing. And bringing this up, also Wegmans again has a lot of huge. I can't talk. I'm getting tongue-tied. Has a big selection of the soft drinks, and they also have the healthier, old school sugar drinks versus the high fructose corn syrups. Oh, Chris. Well, I mean, if you like it, I guess that's fine. I have tried drinking Tab, which I think is the original diet drink where they use the what was it called, saccharin. I just couldn't stand the taste. It tastes so bad, the aftertaste in Tab. They might have gone to using Splenda now. I got to look that up. Why can you never find it? Yes, Yes, they did. Actually, Tab is now using Sucralose, which is Splenda. So might have to try it again. It might actually taste a lot better now. But again, I hardly ever drink sodas at all. Yeah, it was saccharin, but apparently now they switched to Splenda, which are Sucralose, which is actually Splenda. Mark Coveney, do you remember Max Headroom and the commercials he used to do for Coke? Yes, I do. Matter of fact, they had a whole TV show about Max Headroom. That was Matt Frewer played Max Headroom, believe it or not. And oh man, they were really funny back in the 80s. And they have them all up on YouTube now as well. You can just do a YouTube search for Max Headroom. You can not only find the Pepsi commercials that they did, but you can actually find the TV series too. Nick Roberts said, I once drank a whole bottle of corn syrup. Now, I do want to stress there is a difference between high fructose corn syrup and the corn syrup that you use to bake with, like the Coors or the Krups brand corn syrup. There is a difference. That is nowhere near as bad for you as high fructose corn syrup is, which is really made from corn. Look it up. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Okay. Corn syrup is a food syrup which is also made from corn. Corn syrup is distinct from high fructose corn syrup, HFCS, which is the chemical name, which is manufactured from corn syrup by converting a large portion of the glucose into fructose using the enzyme D-exlose isomerase. I'm probably not even pronouncing that right, but the general idea being that fructose is worse for you than glucose. Fructose actually will raise your blood sugar, and that's why the sucralose in Splenda is good for people with diabetes. So there is the difference between regular corn syrup and high fructose corn syrup. I just wanted to clarify that up for people that didn't really understand that. I love fish and chips. I used to eat fish and chips all the time. I don't so much anymore because I try to limit my fried food intake. That being said, that if I go out to a local restaurant, I might actually order some fish and chips. One of the best fish and chips I've ever had was at our local Commodore. It's called the Commodore Theatre in downtown Portsmouth, Virginia. It's one of those old school theaters. It used to actually be a live performance theater, but it was now since been converted to a regular movie theater. But you can still order from the cafeteria that they have there, and they make their fish and chips in-house now. Best I've ever had. They use fresh cod, and they even use fresh cut French fries. We call them French fries here, but you get the idea. They're still chips, and they fry them up themselves. If you're ever in our area, you've got to stop there. That is a must-see and a must-eat in this case. Reviews for Noob says, I can't eat corn because I will see pieces in my POOP. Yeah, I got a funny story about that. Years ago, when we used to visit my grandmother and grandfather in Canada, my grandfather used to go to one of the farms outside of where they lived, and he would get these humongous bushels of corn. And for the week we were there, we would eat nothing but corn with dinner. And yeah, I used to see the same problem when I used to visit the restroom. Sorry, I'm trying to get to all the comments and questions, but they're coming quicker than I can answer them. It helps to clean you out. Now that I didn't know, but I guess it does kind of stand to reason. It's roughage. A lot of those vegetables are roughage, and that'll help basically flush your system. Another great option for you, and Wegmans again has a great selection of these, is oatmeal. I eat oatmeal for breakfast every single morning except on Saturdays when I go to the Nick's restaurant, the local restaurant, for breakfast, and then I usually get the vegetarian skillet. But getting back to what oatmeal does, that actually flushes not only your digestive system out, but actually helps clean out your arteries and your veins. It actually helps flush away the fat. So if you ever, say you went to the doctor and they diagnosed you with high cholesterol, that would be something you'd want to add to your diet. Very true fact, my father used to have the high cholesterol problem back maybe 10 or 15 years ago, and he started eating oatmeal for breakfast every morning for like 6 months. And I thought it was funny. I'm like, Dad, you're eating oatmeal so much? He's like, yeah, I'm trying to lower my cholesterol. Do you know when he went back to the doctor in 6 months, his cholesterol was actually on the low side. It went from being high to being low. So if you ever want to try to lower your cholesterol, eat plenty of oatmeal. Have I ever smoked, I guess Nick Roberts is asking? No, I don't. As a matter of fact, I am allergic to all tobacco products. Mark Coving said, I have fish dinner with my father for lunch on Sundays at Captain D's in Newport News. Do you all have a Captain D's near you? Yes, we do. We have one right down the street. I've only been once, and the reason is they are abysmally slow service-wise. My parents went there last week for Sunday lunch, and this Captain D's is a fast food restaurant, mind you, and it took them 30 minutes to get their food. So if they get better at their service, then yeah, I would probably go back, but I don't know. I don't see myself going there anytime soon. I had no idea what 420 meant, but no to anything you physically smoke, whether it being legal, illegal, vaping. No, never smoke, never will. William goes, they need to change the oil at that Captain D's. I'm sure the same is true about the Sonic that's right next to it, the one that I used to work at. I could tell you some horror stories about that place. But they're much better now. And I hope none of the owners are watching this, because I think they actually do subscribe to my channel. But I will speak the truth about any place. And fast food restaurants specifically do not necessarily have a clean track record when it comes to things like that. Nick Roberts, there's a fish and chip shop at a 3-minute walk from my house, so I'm also eating fish and chips. Man, I'm glad I don't have one that close. The only restaurants that we have in walking distance from my house are actually Italian food restaurants and one Mexican food restaurant, which is really nasty. And not that I don't like Mexican food, I do. It's just that that particular restaurant doesn't know how to cook. George Stewart goes, I love cream of wheat to an oatmeal. You know, I've never actually had cream of wheat. I do eat on Saturdays when I go to Nick's restaurant and I get the vegetarian skillet. I always get a side of grits, and that's kind of a Southern thing. But I always enjoy it, and I've heard a lot of people compare cream of wheats to grits. So I might try it sometime. I bet you I'd actually like it. Oh, I need to shift my butt cheeks here a little bit. Well, I guess there are not a lot of people here that have ever been to a Wegmans. I did have some good comments there from you guys. I do appreciate the few people that did comment about that. I might try to do another live stream from there, but honestly, the best thing I could tell you to do is if you have a Wegmans near you, just go and visit it, because it's really an amazing store and there are so many things to explore in there. You'll never experience everything in one trip. It's just not possible. Chris Bartlett says it's good if they use good vegetable oil and not palm oil, which is very high in saturated fat, like Mickey D's and KFC. Yeah. Matter of fact, at Sonic, they don't even use oil at all anymore. They use a form of lard. It's actually like it comes in solid, and you actually have to pour it into the fryers, and it melts really quickly, of course, because the fryer is really hot. But believe it or not, that is actually a healthier option than using what they used to use, which I believe was I don't know if it was a palm and a peanut oil blend, I think, when I first started working there. James King said, I need to come to the U.S., but it's too far away from New Zealand. I'd love to go visit New Zealand. From what I've heard, there's a lot of interesting places to explore. All right, tubers, I am ending the live stream here tonight. I think we've covered quite a bit. I really enjoyed you guys coming. Please continue to like and subscribe. If you are in the heat belt like we are, if you're in the middle of the heat wave, please stay safe. Keep yourselves hydrated. Eat good food. Have a great evening. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.